Hi everyone, welcome to the Reclaimed Ranch. My name is Tara, and today is kind of a really random video. The projects they don't fit any theme at all. Even the first project is something that I'm actually going to use up in the boutique I'm in. I sell retail baby clothes, and so that's going to come into play with that. And then the other ones were just things that I found mainly at the Goodwill Bins. And I knew I could do something with them, so I brought them home, fixed them up, and I hope you enjoy. So the first project, like I said, is a little different because I found at the bins this little children's plastic mannequin. And so I definitely picked that up and brought it home, and I went ahead and cleaned it up a little bit, but it still had a lot of scratches. So what I'm going to do is I went ahead and sanded it down. I'm going to repaint it with the Fusion's Picket Fence. I did a couple of coats with that. And then we're going to decoupage on it. So my business name is The Reclaimed Ranch, but for the baby retail that I sell, it's called Barnyard Baby. And so I picked out Royce's from Roycycle Treasures Barnyard Animals for this mannequin, and it fits perfectly in my space. It's so darling. I love that decoupage paper, and all of my tags have little barnyard babies on them as well, and so it just couldn't be more perfect. So instead of trying to actually decoupage the entire thing, because of all the curves and whatnot, it would be really difficult. I decided to cut each little animal out with my scissors, and I cut most of the white off, even, because I have a white base, it shouldn't show as much. So I just cut them out and then just kind of placed them randomly all over the mannequin. And there was still some areas that were a little too blank for me. So I did end up getting my redesign transfer called Owl out because it has like a lot of postage stamps on it and different like wording that I just ended up cutting out and putting into those random areas that needed to be filled just a little bit more, and it couldn't have been more perfect. I just love it.
Headlights on the highway. If you only knew, being back here always makes me think of you. When the world is sleeping, do you think of me? With the road ahead's coming back again, coming back to me. I remember the long drives, the late nights in your car. I remember it all. Windows down, empty streets, you were all I used to know. You and I, forever, forever ago. And you used to drive me home. Now I drive alone. You and I, forever, forever, forever ago.
And then since I was going to be putting clothes on and off of this, changing it out, I wanted to make sure that that decoupage and transfer was sealed really well. So I used my Fusions Tough Coat in Matte, and I put 2 full coats on, let them dry. And that should really keep it sustained to where it's not going to be rubbing it on and off. So let me know what you guys think on this. I know it's kind of a random makeover, but I think it turned out pretty cute. So this next project is a wooden duck. It seems really light, so it's not like a hardy wood, but it was painted and then somebody put like a coat of white paint over the top of it. So you can kind of see through it. So I'm going to go ahead and just completely cover it with Algonquin, which is from Fusion. And I do sell these on my website. It's just a really pretty tan neutral color. And then I'm going to go over this after I do 2 coats. I'm going to let them dry. And then I'm going to go over this with some DIY's dark wax and kind of fill in those creases where those feathers are, bring out all the details. And that's pretty much it for this one. These are really basically easy projects to do. You can go ahead and go thrifting, find something just to repaint and throw some wax on, and you have a whole new piece for your decor. So I am probably going to be putting some of these products up onto my website, either that or my Whatnot sales on Thursdays. So kind of if you're interested, be looking for those. And when I did the wax, I did not wait very long to remove the excess because I don't want it to be super dark, and I didn't put a clear wax on top of it. So I just waxed it and then immediately went in with my rag and started removing, and it came out beautifully. I love the color. It just gives it that more antique look to it, and it brings out those feathers and his eyes, and this is such an easy technique. I love doing it. So this third project, I found this really cool old leather piece, and it used to be somebody's little notebook or something. And this paper I found in the Goodwill Bins in, I believe it was Denver. And so I thought it'd be really cool to make another little notebook, like somebody's little artist book. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to cut these pieces of paper down. And this paper is kind of like it's a really weird fiber. It's kind of like a cloth almost. So because it has so much color to it, I did want to add a different kind of paper in between as well. And so I took out some of my watercolor paper, and I just kind of layered these pieces together with the watercolor, and that way you can draw on one of them and then maybe do some decoupage or transfers or junk journaling on the other kinds. And so I thought it'd be fun to have a little booklet like that to be able to express your creativity. And I do have some leather pieces that I bound it with, and I think it turned out really cool, and I was able to save this gorgeous piece of leather. So after cutting all the pieces, I went ahead and put them inside the leather, and I just kind of took my pencil and marked where those papers need to be cut through. And this tool is like a leather punch, and so it's able to punch through really thick amounts. And so I just took those and I punched through where I did with my pencil, and then I just took one piece off the top where I'd already punched and continued to punch through the rest. And so that kind of made it easy. I have a difficult time sometimes because I have carpal tunnel in my hands and I've had surgery on my hands, and so I have to have these tools in order to make it a little bit easier for me to work with my hands. So I just punched them all the way through, and then we are going to add our little piece of leather to bind it all together. All right, so this last one is so sweet, and I found this at the Goodwill Bins. Somebody hand stitched this, and it says Togetherness, but it did have the split in the wood. But look at, there's like even an inscription. Somebody made this for somebody's anniversary, and so I could not let that go into the landfill. So I am going to go ahead and use my Star Bond Thick super glue and accelerator, and I'm going to go ahead and glue this wood together and fill in the cracks on both sides to make sure that it's nice and even, and sand it down to where it's smooth so that I can repaint it. But I could not just leave this. That is just too sweet. And so I cannot think of the colors of the DIY paint that I used, but I wanted to use DIY paint because it's a clay-based paint and it reactivates with water, so it's super easy to do wet distressing. And I love wet distressing because it's a little bit more authentic. So in this wreath around these geese, there is a really beautiful green color. And I was trying to take those DIY greens and a little bit of black to kind of match that color. So I just kept adding a little bit here and there, mixing it together, making my own little green. And then I did 2 coats of this green around the frame. And I love DIY paint because when you dry it, you know it's dry. It turns like a very light color and kind of like a chalky look to it. So then you're ready to go and it dries super fast. So I went ahead and put this coat on. I dried with my heat gun, took about 10 seconds. Put my other coat of paint on, and then I used a baby white to wet distress it back and give it some antique goodness. And once that was all nice and dry, then you do have to seal your DIY paint. So you can use a patina, you can use a glaze. I chose to use Fusion's clear furniture wax, and I put the wax on, let it sit for a good 5-10 minutes, and then I took a paper towel and just removed the excess and let it dry overnight. Okay, these are the final looks of all the projects today. Look at this little mannequin. Like, how am I supposed to cover this up with clothes now? Oh, we'll see. Maybe we'll just use it as decor in the store somehow. But let me know what you guys think. What was your favorite project for today? And I hope you're having some fun spring weather so that you can get out. I hope you all had a happy Easter, and I look forward to next week's video. We're going to do some more thrift flips again, and I think I'm going to have a couple bigger projects this time. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, let me know what you think, and y'all have a wonderful week, and I will see you next Monday. Bye.